Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the live session for the course Gender and Performance and Indian Perspective. Our instructor, Dr. Rachana Pandey ma'am, is with us along with the TAs. So if you have doubts, please join on Zoom and you can also interact on YouTube chat as well. Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the live session for the course Gender and Performance and Indian Perspective. Our instructor, Dr. Some echo is coming, ma'am. Have you opened the YouTube, ma'am, on your join on Zoom? And you can also interact on YouTube chat as well. Ma'am, echo is coming. At your end, have you opened the YouTube, ma'am?
Yes. Is it required or
Not
not?
yet, ma'am. In case if somebody posts any questions on YouTube chat, ma'am, I will repost it on the Zoom chat itself, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
So you can start, ma'am. You can give a brief overview of the course. And just in case if students join in, we will ask them to ask doubts, ma'am.
Sure.
All right, ma'am.
So very good afternoon to one and all. I hope my voice is clearly audible.
Yes, ma'am. It's crystal clear.
So very good afternoon to one and all. I'm Dr. Rachana Pandey, working as assistant professor in Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat, which is under the privileges of Banaras Hindu University. The course that I offer is of 4-week, titled Gender and Performance from Indian Perspective. In this course, primarily, we have covered in the 4 weeks the history of performance in India from gender perspective, and primarily we have started with the clarity of certain terms like drama, theater. What do we understand by performance or performativity? So I started with the very origin of theater in India, because we see that in Western context, plenty of materials are available and courses are available. But in Indian context, it's rare. That's why this course is planned for students of UG and PG level to understand what is theater in Indian context, and that too from gender perspective, from various angles, reading it from textual perspective and also from various performative perspective. I have taken up and analyzed drama as a genre and theater as a field of study. In the second week, primarily I have focused on gender so that the term is clear to the students, so that when we proceed, the concept is clear, and then we can talk about how it can be implemented on text and various performative traditions, which we have covered in the following weeks. Along with that, certain other related concepts like representation, agency, which are the key concepts. Some of the concepts are covered in this particular course. We have explored theater and gender, not only in the binary opposition, talking about women's perspective or men's perspective, but other genders, the third dimension, and the other sexual identities. In fact, the idea of impersonation is also clearly covered in one of the lectures. In third week, after talking about the genre and the concept of gender and the discipline of theater, I have shifted to the performative traditions in India, certain performative traditions, primarily like talking about Jatra as one of the folk theater, or talking about the classical forms like Kathak and Bharatanatyam, so that students get a good idea of how they can differentiate between the classical and folk, or lokadharmi and natyadharmi performances, the traditions. And in the fourth week, it was very important and required to talk about the current scenario of theater in modern India, how theater has been evolved, and what are the new challenges that theater has been facing, especially from gender perspective. So the gender activism as an idea in the modern India has been covered in the fourth week. The contribution of modern Indian dramatists, and even after the 20th century, the artist and theater practitioners who have been working to bring gender in the forefront. That particularly has been covered in the final week, the fourth week. So in this 4 weeks, I have tried to cover primarily the basic concept, starting from the very root, the word, the concept of theater, and how it has been connected to gender in Indian perspective, and then taking it from the history to the very modern times, so that the steps, the development, the evolution of theater in India, along with the gender as a very important factor, where all the gender dimensions have been covered, are primarily focused in this 4 week course, Gender and Performance and Indian Perspective. So that's a brief overview of the course.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for giving a brief overview on our course. One student has joined, Pratayi Datta. Pratayi, can you unmute yourself? Pratayi, you have any doubts?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So all the weekly content have you gone through? Submitting assignments, everything is done, Pratayi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you registered for the examination?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ma'am, can you give a brief overview on the examination? Like what are the questions that they will expect? Those kinds of things, ma'am. It will be beneficial for others who have registered for the examination as well.
Certainly, certainly.
Sure,
So
ma'am.
in this 4 week course, we have primarily prepared the questions which are MCQ based, so that examination should not be a pressure for students. Learning is the focus. So that they learn, they enjoy learning at their own pace and get a grip on the primarily on the subject, and then MCQ can be handled by them if they have gone through the videos, entire course material. So it's an MCQ based examination where weekly they have assignments. Again, assignments are also MCQ based, because primarily we are having literary studies. So in literary studies, MCQ based questions are asked. And apart from the assignments, weekly assignments, they are supposed to give an examination if they are registered for the examination. And examination will also be of MCQ based, which will completely come from the material which have been shared with them, and the video content that they have gone through, and also some questions which are there in the assignments can be asked in a different way, so that students are pretty much comfortable with their examination without any pressure. If they have gone through the entire material, they can easily answer the question and avail their certificate after getting through the examination. So that's the focus.
Sure, ma'am. I'll just check on the YouTube, ma'am, whether anyone has posted a.
Sure.
Nobody is watching on YouTube, ma'am. Maybe we will wait for a few more minutes on
Sure.
Zoom itself.
There was one question that came in the forum. I wanted to address that question, although personally we have already addressed that question on the forum, but I thought that maybe this idea needs further clarification. So I may talk about it for 3-4 minutes.
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, so that is the idea of performance. One of the students asked on the forum that what is the difference between performance and performativity? And also she wanted to know what is performance studies and how it is different from drama and theater studies as well. So maybe this clarification will help her out further. So basically, when we talk about performance, it's a very broad term. And performance is not a term which is only related to theater. Theater is a part of it, but performance is more than that. Performance goes beyond theater, beyond theatrical convention as well. Because performance includes all forms of reenactment that can be productively analyzed as performance. So all forms of reenactment, the performance is primarily an act of executing a specific role. It could be a social role of women playing a role of a wife, or a man playing a role of a husband or father, or political role, or everyday role, everyday practices, a role of a teacher, a role of a student in the classroom. So why performance is primarily an act of executing a specific role or presentation. So that can go beyond theater as well. And performativity refers to an idea, a concept that every performance includes action and language. And this action and language, the combination of it, can create certain effect, can create certain reality through reenactment of certain performance, repeated behavior, repeated pattern or gesture. So performance, again I'm clarifying it, that performance is an act of performing a specific role, executing a specific role. It could be social, political, or everyday practice. Performativity refers to an idea that refers to action and language, a combination of action and language that can create certain effect. Language does not mean that language only means words. It includes silence as well. It includes expressions as well. So that is performance and performativity. Then when we talk about performance studies and how it is different from drama studies and theater studies, uh, this in one of the lectures in week 1, I have explained that drama studies traditionally focuses on the textual study of written drama. So textual analysis is the primary concern, and that is more valued. Whereas theater studies deals with text, the literature, as well as theatrical performances. It could be folk, it could be classical, various traditional, various modern theatrical performances. So the method of performance, method can be the study area of theater studies. So theater studies includes literary theories, theater theories, literature, performances, and it focuses on entirely on these things. But when we come to performance studies, which was the question, it is not only limited to the study of the text or the theatrical performances, the analysis of that, but all forms of actions that are performed beyond theater, social performances, performance of a role, a social performance, a political performance, performance as a religious person. So religious ritual is also a performance. Sports, uh, specific way to uh, play a sport, that is also a performance. Or even everyday life, when we perform our role as a professional or as a domestic person. So all these have cultural connotation, right? So even beyond theater, performance studies include all sorts of action, forms of action that are performed. So performance studies deals with the actions that are consciously or unconsciously performed, having social cultural connotation, and that may be viewed as theatrical, that may not be viewed as theatrical, but that comes under the periphery of performance studies. So that is this is a clarification from my side about performance studies.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing that forum query. Our TS Aishwarya Ritika, would you like to share your experience on the course development or anything else you want to share?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Aishwarya, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I'm Aishwarya Kirti, the TA for this course. And sir, during this course, we learned a lot. Like this was a very good learning curve for me, for particularly as a research scholar, because right now, as I will be entering into academia soon, and right now I'm a student here in BHU itself. So this course taught us a lot how actually proper research is done. Like thanks to ma'am, she was doing her research on her own. She was making her content and everything, but the way we learned, basically about the citation and how to go very deep into research. That was really a very good learning part for us. And also, we learned about the technical aspect, what goes into making the course. Everything, not just the academic part, but all the technical stuff. And it was coordinated very well from the um, we were assigned assistant from IIT Kanpur. So she is very coordinative and everything. We learned how everything works, like every single nuances, what all details has to be paid attention to. And that too, like she was doing those stuff and also teaching that this is how it has to be done, this is the proper way, that like she could have handled, we gave her the material, she could have handled on her own, but she was simultaneously keeping both us stays in the loop, that what all has to be done, how it is being done, the things are being configured, and especially then the schedule thing. We learned everything. Like everything has to be very prompt when you are into such a large on a such a large platform. And when we are making such type of course, every single thing is paid attention to, and the schedule that is so tight, and everyone adheres to the timeline. So everything was a very good learning curve for us, and it will definitely help me in my academia future. So I'm very thankful that I got the opportunity to become a part of this program. Thank you, sir, for uh, making us, for the TAs, making us available all the technical stuff, and letting us know about it. And thank you, ma'am, too, because she gave us that opportunity to become a part of this program along with her in this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Aishwarya, for sharing your experience. So our staff, Geetanjali, is the one who is assisting with this course. Since it's Sunday, she's not here. Otherwise, I would have asked her to join in the Zoom. Ritika, would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, I would like to add that apart from all the technical stuff and coursework, I learned about the teamwork and basic essence of teaching and how everything works. I loved it, and thank you, ma'am, for giving me us the opportunity for working with Swayam. Um, that's it.
Thank you, Ritika. Let me just check for check on the YouTube, ma'am, whether anyone has posted. Otherwise, just check on YouTube and update you, ma'am. No questions are there on YouTube, ma'am. So that student also gone, who joined some time back. So shall we wait for a minute or shall we wind up, ma'am?
We can wait for a minute and then.
All right, ma'am. Let's wait for a minute.
So, sir, by this time, which week is going on? Is the courses?
Just a second, ma'am. I will just share my screen and show you. Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. I'll just click on this go. And this is the statistics of our course, ma'am. 524 students enrolled, and out of 524, 53 have registered for the examination. And examination date is on 25th of April.
Yes.
So most probably they will receive the hall tickets 1 week prior to the examination. So 17th or 18th of April, they will be getting the hall tickets. Let me just click on to this go to course. So we have released 4 weeks of content, ma'am.
Okay, they have gone through it.
Yes, ma'am. And then I think 4th week assignment due date is 19th.
19th.
Yeah, so 3 more days to go, ma'am.
Okay.
So
then by the time the course will be over.
It will be over, ma'am. Yes. So. And then the query which you addressed is here, ma'am. On performative studies, you addressed this query.
Yes, yes. And I've already shared materials on that.
Right, ma'am. That's great, ma'am. I'll just stop the screen share. So shall we wind up, ma'am? Since nobody.
Sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time. Thank you, TS, Aishwarya, and Ritika. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You're always welcome, ma'am. So I'm closing, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone, ma'am. Bye.